Hi everyone, Fionnuala J here, just dropping by with a sneak peek at some exclusive content over on the Flop Culture Patreon. That's patreon.com/flopculture, where you will get an extra, at least 2 bonus episodes a month on all things flops, sometimes bops, and everything in between. Hope you enjoyed this little preview. You are very welcome back to the Flop Culture Patreon. Hope you're well. You might also be listening on Apple. Great to have you here if you're listening there. We are here, myself and Adam. Hello, Adam.
Hello. It's good to be back on the mic, isn't it?
Editor, producer, extraordinaire, F1 correspondent. We're going to be talking about the Super Bowl halftime show.
Yeah, because I love sports.
We love sports. Adam initially thought that we were going to talk about the whole game. And I actually don't know why you thought that, because never once have I...
It was early. I just immeditely freaked out when I saw that. You were like, let's talk about the Super Bowl. And why didn't I not assume that it was just a halftime?
Yeah, no, we're not talking about the game. We're not even really going to talk about Taylor Swift. We're not going to talk about football. We're not going to talk about Chiefs. We're not going to talk about 49ers. We're talking about Usher and his 15-minute halftime performance, 2 minutes longer than usual. Thoughts? Did he pull it off?
I think it was, you can't deny it was a show, wasn't it? Like, It was a real show.
Yeah.
And what's nice about this one is that, like, you got a lot more choreography, I think, than you would normally have.
Yeah.
I'm not, like, I'm going to just go out there on full disclosure and say, like, I'm not a big Super Bowl halftime performance guy. I'm not familiar with, like, the massive history of it. I know that it's always a big spectacle, but I kind of am familiar with the general format of it. And I've seen a few in my time, and certainly this one feels like it's a lot more performance focused necessarily than, like, as in physical performance as opposed to vocal performance.
Did you watch last year with Rihanna?
No, I didn't know.
Okay. See, so I didn't love the Rihanna one, right?
Right, okay.
I would say it was, like, fine to good. And I think the issue for that is I love a gimmick. I love a spectacle. I love that, right? And that's not to say that she didn't get... There was a lot of, like, good choreography, and the staging I thought was interesting. She obviously looked amazing. Mm-hmm. And she has the back catalogue. Mm-hmm. My issue with Rihanna's performance was that it wasn't enough of a spectacle. There was no special guests, which is, like, kind of a slay. I get that, but I also do love the anticipation around who people are going to bring out, how the collaboration is going to work on stage, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So that was kind of disappointing for me. I would also say that the whole thing around, like, she announced her pregnancy, yes, but nobody really got that until after the fact, and a lot of Googling. She did it, there's an opening shot where it's like, she rubs her stomach, right? That wasn't explicit enough because the camera moved away too quickly. That's obviously not her fault. It's the choreographers / the camera person / both, right? I think if they had pulled that off, I would have been like, slay, ate that up. But it became this whole thing where nobody was really sure. Anyway, we're not talking about last year. But the reason why I was excited for this year, I wouldn't even really consider myself like a massive, massive Usher fan. I'm not hugely into the discography. I do want to get into it. But when I heard this announced, I was like, this makes absolute sense, because the man can sing, choreo, proven, like, track record, back catalogue, whatever. I was like, this is going to be good to, like, great. So I was very excited. Obviously lots of discussion around who he was going to bring out because he's collaborated with loads of people, whatever. And then I'm after obviously only just watching it now with you. You'd watched it previous to me.
Yeah.
It seemed like the initial reviews were kind of middling, but I'm going to go out on a limb here and say I thought it was good. I thought it was absolute spectacle. I'm not saying it was perfect. Spectacle, the songs still stand up. He was loving it. The right amount of special guests. We'll talk about the Justin Bieber of it all later. I thought it was good. I think people are I don't really know what people want, or I'm not really understanding what the criticisms are. Like, what about it didn't work for you?
See, like, this is the overarching question about the Super Bowl halftime show, right? Like, what is it? What is it meant to be? Like, are people looking at this as if it's supposed to be the most perfect concert performance of all time for the artists involved? Or is it like, is the focus on the spectacle? Where does the balance have to be stricken?
Yeah.
And, like, everyone's gonna have their own opinion on that, right? I personally would probably side more on the side of it's not necessarily about the music. It's kind of cynical in the way that it is. You know, it's always a musical artist or whatever. And, like, I'm not saying that they're not taking it seriously, but I definitely think that the artists are putting more of an emphasis on the theatre.
the theatre and how it looks, 100%.
Yeah, rather than the
because
performance.
it's the most watched fucking performance they'll probably ever have. Like, you know what I mean? It's the biggest audience that they'll ever have. There's a reason they don't get a fee for it. It's because of the impact it has on like your back catalogue. If you're like relaunching a career, it can make or break it for people, like, you know.
There's an element of prestige to it as well, though, right?
100%.
Because it's like the biggest artists in the world are the people who do it.
Yeah.
Like you said, Rihanna, Beyonce's done it. Like Dr. Dre, Eminem, Kendrick Lamar, they did it one year as kind of like the.
That's one of the best years in recent memory. I
fantastic, loved it.
My eyes out watching it. And it was actually genuinely like soul moving, or I don't know. It was incredible. It was so good. Did you like what you hear? I hope you did. If you did, you can listen to the episode in full at patreon.com/flapculture. Other benefits to becoming a patron include getting the main episodes ad-free. We love that, girls. And you get them a little bit earlier than normal listeners too. So that's nice, isn't it? Why don't you join today? Patreon.com/flapculture. I'll see you there.